This video is going to be the first part of Chapter 11, which is the introduction to risk, return, and the cost of capital. So first, let's quickly review what's the rates of return. The formula for rates of return is the capital gain plus the dividend divided by the initial share price. So for example, if we purchase the stock for $40.20, we hold it for 1 year, we receive 80 cents of dividend, and the stock price has increased by $19.83. So the percentage return will be the capital gain, which is $19.83, plus the dividend, which is 80 cents, divided by the initial price you purchased the stock for, which is $40.20. And you get the return is 51.3%. So this is your percentage return. And there are two parts to this return, which is the dividend yield, like the money you gain from the dividend. So the dividend divided by initial stock price, and the capital gain yield. The capital gain, the stock price increased, divided by the initial stock price. Okay, if the stock price decreased, then this capital gain can be negative. Okay, and in the numeric example, we receive 80 cents for the dividend divided by initial price, so the dividend yield is about 2%. And the capital gain, we receive the price increased for $90.83 divided by the initial price, so the capital gain is 49.3%. Okay. And there is also nominal return and the real return. And the formula is 1 plus the real rate of return equals 1 plus the nominal rate of return divided by 1 plus inflation rate. Okay, so suppose the inflation rate is 0.05%. So the nominal rate of return is 51%, 51.3% as we copied earlier. So 1 plus the 51.3% divided by 1 plus 0.5%, okay, gives you the 1.501. Okay, so 1 plus the real rate of return is 1.501, which means the real rate of return is 0.505. So that's 15.5%. Okay. So next I'm going to talk about the market indexes. The market index is a measure of investment performance of the overall market. Okay, it's by definition should include all the stocks in the market, and it's not only stocks actually, it's also like the bonds, like the real estates. You need to track every asset on the market. However, in the real world, the easy way to do it is we just find some indexes as the proxy for the market. So there are three very important indexes. So the first is Dow Jones Industry Average, which is the Dow. It's the index of investment performance of a portfolio of 30 blue chip stocks, 30 very large companies. Okay, so remember, it's kind of biased towards large companies. And also there's SP 500, which is the Standard Poor Composite Index. So this is the index that composited of a portfolio of 500 large stocks. So it has a large portfolio. Instead of using 30 stocks, the portfolio has 500 stocks. But again, it's still a little bit biased towards big companies. So it's the 500 largest companies. Okay. And the third index is the Nasdaq Composite. And that's the index of common stocks and similar securities listed on the Nasdaq stock market. And as you may already know, the Nasdaq stock market is mainly for technology companies. So this composite is more biased towards technology companies, and there are more small firms, mid or small cap funds companies represented in this index. Okay. So by definition, let me just restate this. By definition, the market index should include every asset in the market, including bonds, including stocks, including the real estates. or anything you can name. However, in the real world, we are using those three proxies indexes to track the market index. Okay. And why is this important? So when we are doing investment, say we are holding a portfolio, and we want to compare this portfolio and to see what's the performance this year. So say this year we are making 10% of return. However, is this a good rate of return? We don't know. We need to know only after we compare it to the market. Say this is a good year. It's a goal year. The market has increased. The market index has increased 20%. Then if your portfolio only increased by 10%, the return is only 10% for your portfolio, then you are doing worse than the market. Okay, so the performance of portfolio is not that good, even if you have a positive rate of return. However, if your portfolio is earning 10%, but the market is only earning 3%, then you have beaten the market, so your portfolio is doing well. Okay, so to evaluate the performance, you need to compare to the market. Also, we will talk about later, you also need to compare the risk level, okay, of your portfolio compared to the market. Okay, so we'll talk more about this later. Next, so this is just a graph showing the value of $1 investment in 1900 and how it grew till 2015. You can see the bills, bonds, the treasury bill, the treasury bonds. So one is short term, one is long term, and the common stock have different growing pattern. So you can see the stock have grown the most. Okay. So if we calculate the average annual rate of return, we can see the treasury bill has the average annual rate of return of 3.8. Treasury bonds has a return of 5.3, and the common stock have the return of 11.4. Okay, and we can calculate the average premium, which is the extra return versus the treasury bills. So we usually assume the treasury bills have no risk, and so they are risk-free rates. Why? Because they are issued by the government. So if we believe the U.S. government has very, very low, almost zero possibility to default, then the treasury bill is risk-free. Okay, so the treasury bill is also called the risk-free rate. So the rate access to this risk-free rate is called the risk premium. Okay, so the treasury bonds is have the premium of 5.3 minus 3.8. So the treasury bonds is having a 1.5 risk premium. Okay, why? Because the treasury bonds, they're also backed up by the stock or by the government, but they are long term. So you may have some interest risk associated with it. So you need to compensate for this risk by getting a higher return, which is 1.5, and that's the risk premium. And the common stock, they not only have the interest risk, but they also they have the risk that the company may default, okay, in their value. So because of this higher risk, they have a higher premium, and the premium is calculated as 11.4 minus the risk-free rate of 3.8, and that's 7.6%. Okay, so the more riskier this asset is, the higher return are required by the investors, and we call this excess return as the risk premium. Okay, so how large is this risk premium? Say in 1981, the expected market return. Okay, the market return you can use in, say, the SP 500 indexes to form a portfolio, and the market return is the return of this portfolio. Okay, so the market return in 1981 is 21.6%. The interest rate on the treasury bill that year is 14%. It's very high. Okay, it's likely due to the inflation and the interest rate in that year. And the nominal risk premium is 7.6%. Okay, in 2016, the expected market return is only 7.9%. Okay, it looks to be much lower. However, the interest rate on the treasury bill is also much lower, which is 0.3%. So again, the nominal risk premium is 7.6%, which is actually the same as in 1981. So in other words, the risk premium is the compensation required by the investors to compensate for the risk they are going to bear. And this expectation is kind of constant. Okay, so even if we may say the expected market return can change a lot, but the large of it is due to the interest rate on the risk-free rates. But the risk premium part is kind of constant over years. Okay, it's not always staying the same. It can be changing, but most of the time it's kind of in the same level. It's not going to be very volatile. Okay. However, in different countries, they may have different expectations on the risk premium. Okay. So this is for US from 2019. There are 4 time periods, 2015, and then you can see the stock, the treasury bill, and you can calculate the risk premium in those 4 time periods. Okay. And if you do the calculation, you will see they are in the it's not constant, but it's in the same level. However, for different countries, some countries may have higher risk premium, and some countries may have lower risk premium, okay, depending on the environment of their stock market, depending on the expectations of those investors. Okay, so we can see the Portugal has the highest risk premium, and the Switzerland has the lowest risk premium. Different countries may have different risk premiums. Okay. So that's it for this class. Next, in next video, I'm going to talk more about the risk, how we calculate, how we measure the risk. Okay.